Picture that thing you've always wanted to learn. Now, picture learning it from the person who's literally the best at it in the world. That's what you get with Masterclass. This year, learn from the best to become your best with Masterclass. Don't just talk about improving. Masterclass actually helps you do it. Masterclass offers over 180 world-class instructors. So whether you want to master negotiation with Chris Voss, think like a boss with Martha Stewart, or reframe your thinking with Ava DuVernay, Masterclass has you covered. Masterclass memberships come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. And right now, our listeners will get an additional 15% off an annual membership at masterclass.com/ratchet. Get 15% off right now at masterclass.com/ratchet. Masterclass.com/ratchet. Hey y'all, let me put you on to something real quick. I got something you need to check out. You ever heard of the BLK app? That's BLK, not black, the BLK app. If not, you're missing out. Okay, so BLK is the largest dating and lifestyle app made specifically for the Black community. All right, I did my good deed for the day by putting you on. So go download BLK today in the App Store or on Google Play. It's free, it's fun, it's for us. Check it out and let me know what you think. Want a more youthful look by addressing volume loss in the cheeks? With Juvederm Voluma XC, you can get smooth, long-lasting, natural-looking results for lift and contour in the cheeks that last up to 2 years with optimal treatment. For important safety information and to find a licensed specialist, visit juvederm.com. That's JUVEDERM.com. Not for people with severe allergic reactions, allergies to lidocaine, or the proteins used in Juvederm. Common side effects include injection site redness, swelling, pain, tenderness, firmness, lumps, bumps, bruising, discoloration, or itching. There's a risk of unintentional injection into a blood vessel, which can cause vision abnormalities, blindness, stroke, temporary scabs, or scarring. Talk to a licensed specialist to find out if it's right for you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't identify as either, or those who identify as both. It is Pride Month. I want people to feel included every month, but we going extra special this month. You know how like Black History Month? Like Black people be like, yeah, it's Black History Month every month. Like we just, celebrate more in February. Yes, Pride Month is every month. We just celebrate our folks more in June. My time in Cape Town has come to an end after 2 months. God, I love this place. Every time I think about leaving, I would get all choked up. And when I was with my friends, I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Technically, I have another month on my visa. I did look into changing my flight. When I looked the first time, the change was like $150. And I was like, okay, let me look at some other stuff. I wanted to stay in my same Airbnb. And I got distracted doing something else. 2 days later, I went to look. The Airbnb was available. And I was about to get it. And I was like, you know what? Let me check the flight again to make sure it's the same rate. And so I'll just stay an extra few days. I went back to check that flight. Do you know, it had gone up by $2,700. And I was like, oh, so I guess I'm leaving as scheduled. That was more than the whole flight back home. It had doubled in price. And I was like, okay, I guess now it's time to say goodbye to all my Black and colored friends. All right. But I had a good goodbye. One of my friends didn't come in town to surprise me, but I was surprised he was in town. He's similar to me. He bounces all over the world. He's technically, I think right now, living in Kenya, but he flew into Cape Town from Thailand. I hadn't talked to him in maybe almost 2 months. I saw him the second week I was in Cape Town. I didn't realize he was in South Africa then. I didn't know where he was in the world. But I landed in Cape Town and I hit up some friends that lived there. And one of them is a mutual friend. And she was like, oh, did you hit up B? Isn't he in Nairobi or Asia or I don't know where he is? And so she was like, no, he's in South Africa. So I hit him up and he was like, yeah, I'm in Durban and I'm driving to Cape Town, which is I think a 12-hour drive. And I was like, they have planes. You can fly. But he wanted to do a road trip, an adventure. I was like, sure, all right. But I hadn't talked to him since that second week. He just hit me out the blue and was like, where you at? And I was like, oh, I'm still in Cape Town. And he was like, oh, I think I'm around the corner from you if you're at the same spot. And I was like, around the corner from me where? What? And he was like, yeah, I just got here. And I was like, what do you mean you're in Cape Town? He was like, yeah, my plane landed like 2 hours ago. And I was like, what? He and I and a couple of my other friends did goodbye dinners. My favorite restaurant is this place called The Nines. It's a rooftop. It has like these panoramic views of, this is not the name of the neighborhood, but this is just what I call it, like the Cape Town Hills, kind of like the Hollywood Hills, like all the big ass houses up in the hills that overlook the city. It's the equivalent of that. I mean, big ass houses. Like you look at the houses, you'd be like, is that a hotel? No, it's a single family home. But gorgeous views of the houses in the mountains and also views of the ocean, immaculate views of the sunset. And Cape Town has some of the most beautiful sunsets I've ever seen. But the one from my final goodbye, or my second to last night, was actually one of the best I've seen in the city. The one of my actual goodbye wasn't that great. It rained all day, but it was really, really beautiful. It was one of those moments, and I have them actually quite a lot, where I do something or I look at something and I'm like, I can't believe I get to live this life. And then the food at the Nines is like freaking amazing. I had this like butternut ravioli. It might not sound like nothing, but I think there was like maple syrup or brown sugar involved. Like, it was so good. Cape Town will feed you. They will feed you and they will season the food properly. It's a lot of white people, but they white people in Africa, they season. It was good times. And then for the actual last night, me and B and a couple of my other friends, I met this really dope woman, one of my really good friends. He was in Cape Town shooting a TV show. I'm pausing because I'm trying to think what's public knowledge and what's not. I don't know if he ever announced the show online, so I won't say what it is. And I didn't even see him post. Somebody DM'd me and was like, oh, Malik Yoba is in town. And I was like, what? So I hit him up and I was like, bruh, you're in Cape Town? And I really mean bruh. I've known this man for years on some real big bro status. I hit him up and he was like, yeah, I'm here. I'm shooting. What you doing? So we ended up having lunch and dinner and I met a bunch of his friends. And there was this one woman, you know, you just meet somebody and you just like click like immediately. And I was like, oh yeah, like if I lived here or you lived wherever I technically live, I mean, I don't really have like a home, I guess DC. But I was like, we would be besties. But she was back in town too. So the four of us had this very ignorant dinner at Nobu. We ordered so much shit and it cost like next to nothing because the USD to Rand conversion is insane. To the point where like Nobu is like Cheesecake Factory prices. Also too, none of us were drinking. I think one of us had like a glass of wine. The rest of us are dry. So like the bill was nothing. And I was like, yo, liquor be running up a tab. You want to save money? Stop drinking. Good times. I love Cape Town. Like I really didn't want to go. I just needed to get back home for some work stuff. And I planned out, not so immaculately, but planned nonetheless, this American summer. Like last year I did European summer. So now I'm doing American summer. Not quite an odyssey. If you've been a listener for a very long time, you remember when I went from city to city to city for like 6 weeks. I think it was, or country. LA to Miami to Mexico to Atlanta to DC to New York to Vegas to LA to Chicago to Napa to Vegas to LA. Quite the adventure. It was exhausting, but thrilling. It's not that. I'm not doing that. I'm moving a little slower this time, but it's an adventure nonetheless. Or I hope it will be. I ain't got plane tickets for everything, but we'll see. But yeah, so Cape Town was a vibe. America better be too. I'm just saying. We have some updates from last week. I had mentioned Lupita Nyong'o was on the cover, the global cover for the June Glamour issue. I didn't like the way I talked about it. I hadn't read the article. And I was like, let me read the article and see if I could do right by Lupita. I don't know what I was so aggy about when I was talking about that. Y'all, you know, sometimes you just have a feeling that something ain't gonna be to your liking. It wasn't Lupita. Lupita was fine. It was the article. Glamour usually has a little more depth than what this article was. It wasn't that long. The hook of the article is that she's in, I think this is the third part of the series, A Quiet Place. She's the star of the upcoming film. And I was like, I knew A Quiet Place, you know, I went to see it in theaters, but I was like, was it that big? One, to make 3 of them, and then 2, to put Lupita on the global cover because of it. I'm not mad at it. I'm not going to hate about a black woman getting some love globally on the cover of a mainstream magazine. Very good. Congratulations to Lupita. Literally, 3/4 of the article is about Lupita and a cat. So apparently she has a cat in the film, and before the film she didn't like cats, and then she actually bought a cat after the film because she liked the cat that she worked with. And then she went through a breakup and she thought she was getting depressed. So she bought an animal, hence the cat. And then the interview takes place at some venue in LA where you can interact with cats, like adopt a cat while you eat. And I was like, I don't need no cats around my food. How many cats they got in this place where people are eating, like where people are cooking food? I looked up the writer. She was a person of color, but not of black color. And I was like, whose idea was it to go eat at a cat restaurant and to do a whole article about Lupita and these cats? They don't talk about the real interesting thing that I wanted to know, which is about Lupita running around with Jodi's ex-husband. They talk about the boyfriend that Lupita dated for a while, and then she broke up with him and she put something on the internet. It's happened a while ago, so that's why I'm not going back to read the quotes. But basically, she said he betrayed her. I assumed it was infidelity, but there are other means of betrayal. But the article specifically says that they talk about that ex, and then the writer wanted to delve a little more, but she was like, she just got vibes from Lupita that she didn't want to talk about her current situation. She didn't say Jodi's ex-husband, but that's what she was talking about. And I was like, I mean, is it her ex-husband? I think it's estranged. I don't know if that divorce is final yet, but that's what Lupita's dating. But they don't have any information about that in the article. And I was like, so why are we here again? Oh, because she's in a quiet place? Okay. I'm not always wrong. I mean, I have my moments. I wasn't wrong about that. Okay. I just heard something mind-blowing. So, when you search for something on Netflix, what you get is only a fraction of what Netflix actually has. Netflix actually has more than 18,000 titles globally, but only 6,000 of those are available in the US, which means you're literally missing out on thousands of great shows, unless you use ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is an app that lets you change your online location so you can control where you want Netflix to think you're located. They have over 100 different locations, so you can gain access to thousands of new shows no matter where you live. This works with other streaming services too: Disney+, Hulu, Max, BBC iPlayer, and more. Also, ExpressVPN assures you never miss your shows no matter where you are in the world. So if you're traveling and your favorite show is on, there's no need to miss it while you're gone. Just turn on your ExpressVPN. When I'm in South Africa, I'm still able to access all of my streamers: Hulu, Max, Showtime, Peacock, Amazon Prime, whatever I want to watch. Even if it's not available in South Africa, when I turn on my ExpressVPN, then suddenly it is. It's very, very simple. All I had to do was open ExpressVPN, select the country I need the streamer to think I'm in, tap one button to connect, and refresh whatever streamer I'm using to watch it. It's really that easy. I love ExpressVPN. That's how I'm able to stay on top of all our favorite shows and review them on here and on social media. I love that it's super fast and I can stream everything in HD with no buffering, and that it works on any device. I can enjoy my shows on my phone, my laptop, my tablet, TV, whatever. It just works. Also, even better, ExpressVPN also protects my privacy and security to keep me safe from hackers. So stop missing out on great TV and get thousands of new shows with ExpressVPN. We got them to give you all 3 extra months free when you use our special link, expressvpn.com/ratchet. That's expressvpn.com/ratchet to get 3 extra months completely free. Summer fun can get expensive, and when you have financial goals, you need to decide what's worth it. A Chime checking account helps you reach your financial goals while still enjoying your summer. Take back your finances with features like fee-free overdraft up to $200 with SpotMe, or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Learn more at chime.com/ratchet. With Chime, you get no monthly fees or maintenance fees. And my favorite part, you get access to 60,000 fee-free ATMs. Live it up this summer and make progress towards your financial goals with Chime. Open your account in minutes at chime.com/ratchet. That's chime.com/ratchet. Chime feels like progress. Banking card and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank North America or Stride Bank North America. Members FDIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Terms and conditions apply. Go to chime.com/disclosures for details. I was wrong. According to Martin Lawrence, he and Will Smith are in Bad Boys 4, which I think is already out. I think it came out on the 5th. I really want to see it. You know how I am when I get back to America about going to the movies just for the popcorn and a gigantic Coke so I can get cholesterol and diabetes all at once. Giant buckets of popcorn layered in butter and drinking your own personal quart of Coke is a completely and uniquely American concept. I told y'all about that. Like overseas, it's like, do you want sugar or salt? And I was like, huh? You ain't no butter? And they were like, butter? For sure there's no butter in Africa, and for sure there's no buttered popcorn in Europe and the UK. They don't understand the concept. They look at you like you're crazy. Like, you want to put butter on the popcorn? Yes. Or no, in their case. So when I come back to America, that's one of my favorite things. So I'm definitely going to see Bad Boy. I might go see it this weekend. As much as like, because, you know, I've seen all the Bad Boy films, but also because I want to support Will Smith. I think it was Variety ran an article. Let me see if I can pull it up. I looked it up the other day. I saw somebody post it and I was like, who really cares? But it was something like, is Will Smith Variety? Are moviegoers ready to embrace? This is the headline. As Bad Boy 4 hits box office, are moviegoers ready to embrace Will Smith after Oscar's slap? I ain't thought about that slap in a month of Sundays. Not in any kind of seriousness. Like, I make jokes about it and people make jokes about it. But I'm like, after the first week or two that it happened, when everybody was still talking about it, I ain't thought two shits about it. Especially after Chris Rock came back and made that joke about OJ's ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson. I can't even remember what the joke was, but it was in such terrible taste. I'm like, we all know that woman was murdered. If not by OJ, then by somebody. She didn't off herself. But Chris Rock said that trash shit, and everybody was like, oh yeah, Will Smith should have slapped him. It was just preemptive. Yeah. Like, are moviegoers ready to embrace Will Smith? Yes, I think so. Will Smith, to promote Bad Boys 4, went on a worldwide tour. I know for sure he went to Dubai. He went to Mexico. Obviously LA and New York. There are a couple other places too. But he didn't do any major sit-down interviews for it. My friend sent me the article. He said, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if, if this is the proper way to promote the film, because there's so much information. There's so much content that he's going to be competing with. And I was like, Will Smith is a global superstar. I think he'll be okay. Like, just his Instagram alone will get people in the seats. And then also, showing up to all these different countries. I started following the promo for this movie just to see like exactly what he's doing and to see the success of it. I think the movie will be fine. They're projecting anywhere from 60 million to 100 million, which is a huge range at the box office for opening weekend. I think he could do it. He went to Mexico. He went to the mall, and like the mall was packed with people. He was going up the escalator and you could see like all the people in the background. And I was like, yo, Will Smith, like, I think people, while acknowledging that he slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars and then went and sat in his seat for the rest of the show and then proceeded to win an Oscar and go on stage and then went out that night and partied, is a testament to his level of fame and power in Hollywood. But I think also because of the way he got skewered afterward, largely for being a black man. But I think people thought that Will Smith's Hollywood power or influence or celebrity was diminished somehow. I mean, he took a hit for sure, but he's also Will Smith. That man gave us Bad Boys, Independence Day. He saved the world for like 10 summers straight with 100 million at the box office. I think he's the only person to do it. Put some respect on that black man's name. He was, is, and will probably always be a global superstar. America tends to be hard on its celebrities. Like, we like something and then we stop liking something or someone, Jennifer Lopez, and then we move on to somebody else. Like, we tend to discard our celebs. We tend to discard our celebs rather quickly and their music. But like, you go overseas and people play Michael Jackson like it came out yesterday. People play not so much Summertime, but like the corny Will Smith songs, the stuff that we think is like whack. Like they play that on the radio. Flo Rida, huge overseas. Jason Derulo, huge overseas. People were kind of like, they're corny. Huge. I don't think this person is corny, but her music is played very often in South Africa. Like Khalees don't get no radio play here, but they play random Khalees cuts at parties in South Africa. And I was like, really? Like, y'all still playing Milkshake? Like, it's been 20 years. Yes. And the song still hits. Who knew? I guess South Africa knew. That's not the point. The point is, Martin and Will Smith are on this global press tour. Martin, to me, is not looking his best. I'm trying to choose my words very carefully. Because remember when Chadwick was sick? I did not participate in any Chadwick slander. Once he was my king, and that was it. Still my king, even in death. But people really went in on Chadwick. He had cancer and he was losing weight very rapidly. He didn't look his best self and people didn't know he was sick. I mean, even though he looked sick, in retrospect, I'm saying that though. But, people were like, oh, is he losing weight for a role? Or is he, on some Hollywood shit? Or he, or people spoke very negatively about him. So I want to be very mindful in the way that I choose my words about Martin. And I also want to be purposeful in saying that my concern is not out of just being nosy, because it is partially about being nosy and wanting to know like what's going on. But I'm a Martin fan from way back. I mean, from Martin, the TV show, but also as a kid, sneaking downstairs to watch HBO, to watch Def Comedy Jam, and not even being old enough or enough life experience to get half the jokes. But like, I adored Martin. He is as an entertainer, like a profound part of my coming of age. So my concern or my interest in what's going on with him is not just to be nosy. It's genuinely because like I care and I'm like, bruh, are you okay? And it's not to clown him and it's not to be all up in his business, even though whatever's going on with him isn't my business. His medical issues are 110% none of my business or anyone else who is not closely connected to him. But like, he doesn't look well. He's moving slow. He's speaking slow. He's barely speaking. And I've seen people try to justify it and they're like, well, he's an older man. He's 59. He's not like, I don't know, however Joe Biden is. Which, by the way, I haven't watched the news in a while. I was looking for something and I saw these jokes about Joe Biden and I thought it was an AI image because it was so creepy and slow. And then like I found the original that was broadcast on like MSNBC. It's a real Weekend at Bernie's situation going on. Like, I don't want to deter people from voting. So I'm just, because I know enthusiasm is already low. But what were the Democrats thinking? Another story for another day. But that said, Martin is a 59-year-old man. He should not be moving as slow as he is unless something happened. So he did an interview the other day with Ebro. He said to stop talking about his health, which after this segment, I would totally respect. I will not sit around bringing up his health issues, which clearly exist, even though he's denying. And I'm trying to find this quote. Hold on. I'm reading this on Deadline. He told Ebro, he said he's, quote, healthy as hell. Sir. Ebro asked him specifically, and people were like, Ebro, you're being rude. And I was like, no, Ebro is being a good interviewer. He said, now, Martin, everybody's talking about you up on the balcony waving at people. I think he was on a bus with Will Smith. He said, were you looking around like, yo, this is massive? Because people took it like there was something wrong with your health. And Martin says he was just surprised by the crowd size at the event. He was like, oh, this is rock concert stuff. What the hell is going on? I was like, for a movie? Sir, you've been friends with Will Smith all these years. You've been friends with Will Smith for like 30 years. You know that man is a global rock star. You knew you was going to bring people out. Stop it. You also are very, very famous. You just not Will Smith rock star famous, but you're also worldwide famous. You didn't think there were going to be crowds for Bad Boys 4? I understand you don't want to tell people your business, but don't insult the intelligence of the people. Martin continues. He says, I'm fine. I'm in God's hands. I'm blessed, you know? I'm glad to be waking up every day. I'm all good. No need for people to be concerned. And then he continued, he said, I'm healthy as hell. Stop the rumors. So I'm just reading the article, but I saw the video of it too. At one point, he takes off his glasses and he looks Ebro in the eye. And I guess he was trying to emphasize, like, you know, man to man, like, look at me being the pillar of good health. And I'm like, friend, your eyes look sick. Your eyes look sick. You can look at somebody and tell when they don't look well. Anybody who's been real sick, or anybody who had a family member who's been real sick, you know what people look like when they are sick or when they are on the mend from being real sick. Remember Jamie Foxx got sick? We still don't know what happened to Jamie Foxx. He didn't tell us, and he doesn't need to if he doesn't want to. He said he would tell us in due time. That's fine. No rush. I'm glad he's doing much better. But he posted a picture of himself after he was sick. It's the first time we've seen him in a while, and his face was noticeably slimmer, and he was like 4 shades lighter, and people were joking, and they were like, one, that's a clone. And then they were also like, Jamie Foxx been bleaching. He told us he was sick so he could go bleach in peace. No, the man was sick. Whatever meds he was on or the illness, whatever was going on with him, like, drained a man's color. Like, that happens. But Martin, like, friend, you moving slow. You talking slow. There's video that I've seen with my own eyes. It's not like, you know, people just talking about it. Will Smith is physically assisting Martin in walking or balancing. Okay, friend, like, if you were sick, clearly you were. You say no, but I'm like, I can see. I say yes. Clearly you were ill. I hope that he is on the mend, and this is why he's saying, I'm healthy as hell. I'm good. God got me. He's on the other side of it. He's just a little timid. He's just not fully sure of what his body's capable of. He's moving a little slower. That's okay, friend. I'm glad you're still with us. I'm glad God's got you. For him to say that, I guess, to me, that means that he's feeling good, and he just wants to move forward. I'm happy to do that. But friend, we care. We love you. We want the best for you. And very much, while I appreciate seeing Martin and Will Smith on this press tour, I like them as a duo. I like their chemistry. I like seeing them bounce all over the world together and being black and fabulous and dressed drip down. Like, I love it. But also, friend, bro, if you need to sit down, we gonna go see the movie. You personally didn't even need to do this press tour, to be quite honest with you. Will Smith could have carried it alone. He loved that. Will Smith, the same mall I was talking about when he was in Mexico and they were going up the escalator, Will Smith was waving. You know how like little kids at a grocery store, they be in the cart and want to say hi to everybody? Will Smith was just waving to everybody. Like he was so excited. He was just happy to be outside. He was happy to be in his element again. He enjoys being a superstar. Will Smith really could have carried the press junket on his own. I'm glad you were there. But look, I mean, you saying you're feeling good, but also, you know, if you need to go rest, you need to go sit down, we love you. We're going to see your film. Don't be out here running yourself ragged trying to impress us. We know who you are. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. We all carry around different stressors, big and small. When we keep them bottled up, it can affect us negatively. Therapy is a safe space to get things off your chest and to figure out how to work through whatever's weighing you down. I am a huge advocate for therapy. I think everyone should have a little, even the folks that don't think they need it. Friend, you probably need it the most. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. I love how easy BetterHelp makes it to get, well, help. Get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/ratchet today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ratchet. Picture that thing you've always wanted to learn. Now, picture learning it from the person who's literally the best at it in the world. That's what you get with Masterclass. This year, learn from the best to become your best with Masterclass. Don't just talk about improving. Masterclass actually helps you do it. Masterclass offers over 180 world-class instructors. So whether you want to master negotiation with Chris Voss, think like a boss with Martha Stewart, or reframe your thinking with Ava DuVernay, Masterclass has you covered. With Masterclass, you get unlimited access to intimate one-on-one classes with the world's best. And there are over 200 classes to choose from, with new classes added every month. Like that Ava DuVernay class about reframing your thinking. The class teaches you how to think outside the box. It's really helped me look at the world and my work from so many different perspectives. Masterclass memberships come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. And right now, our listeners will get an additional 15% off an annual membership at masterclass.com/ratchet. Get 15% off right now at masterclass.com/ratchet. Masterclass.com/ratchet. Hey y'all, let me put you on to something real quick. I got something you need to check out. You ever heard of the BLK app? That's BLK, not black, the BLK app. If not, you're missing out. Okay, so BLK is the largest dating and lifestyle app made specifically for the black community. Now, for those thinking it's just the same old scene, no. BLK switched things up. Sure, you can find a boo if that's what you're looking for, but if you're looking to just make friends, network, group chat with folks based on shared interests, or find out about events happening near you, BLK's got all that too. The app's been around for almost 7 years now, and over 11 million people have downloaded it. Crazy. That's like the population of New York City and LA combined. If you've downloaded the app before and deleted it, re-download it because they've introduced a bunch of new features and it's new people to meet on there. Oh, and did I mention that it's free? Yep, free. All right, I did my good deed for the day by putting you on. So go download BLK today in the App Store or on Google Play. It's free, it's fun, it's for us. Check it out and let me know what you think. Did y'all watch that interview with Gayle and Lenny Kravitz? I didn't see the whole thing. I just saw the clip that's been circulating. I was all concerned about Busta Rhymes trying to push up on Gayle. Gayle wasn't thinking twice about Busta. Gayle was interested in Lenny Kravitz. She had him on her show. I thought she went too far. Like, there's a little kiki. You can get away with it on a podcast, but I think just because she was on her professional platform, she should have brought it down to a 10. She said, asking for a friend, is there love in your life right now? Do you have a significant other in your life? And can I beat her ass if she is? Ma'am, get some control over yourself. Get some control, Miss Gayle. That's inappropriate. Lenny laughed. He said, wow. Translation, you doing the most right now. Calm down. Clearly, Lenny Kravitz does it for her. And he is age appropriate. Lenny Kravitz they both in their 60s, which is wild. Nothing about Lenny Kravitz looks 60, but also Lenny Kravitz keeps his glasses on all the time. Eyes are a window. We just talked about being able to tell Martin was sick by looking at his eyes. Eyes give age away, eyes and hands. But Lenny Kravitz always keeps his glasses on, so we can't really tell what exactly he looks like. You know who else does that? Babyface. Babyface keeps his glasses on and always has fresh hair dye. And you know it's dye because it's just a little bit too dark. And I was like, friend, not the jet black, the natural black. Use the natural black. And then you got to wash it 3 times immediately when you do it so it's not too dark. Or just go with the dark brown and mix it with the black, just a little bit of black. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Neither here nor there. Lenny looks amazing. I mean, you can look amazing at any age, full stop. I just don't expect a 60-year-old man to have like an 8-pack and to have like the waist that he does. He's a very tiny man. He's actually very small. He also ain't had any sex. He said he's been celibate for 9 years. And I was like, define celibate. Like, how do you define celibate? Nobody's asked him this yet. And I was like, celibate is in like, definitely, I assume that means no penetration. But I was like, is there no anything else? Is there no, like Bill Clinton. He said, I have not had sexual relations with that woman. And in his head, that meant that there had been no vaginal penetration. But there had been oral penetration. I just want to know. I mean, this is none of my business. But he put it out there. I feel like it's fair to ask. He ain't got an answer. But I'd like to know. Like nothing, no kind of assisted orgasm or attempts at such. with anyone in 9 years, that's a long time. I get it. I said on a previous episode, I think, and I was like, all the people that look the way that I would like to look at a certain age, they gave up either sex, alcohol, or meat. I think he gave up actually all three. But I was like, oh, is that why you look the way you do? Like, that's why you're well preserved like that? I get it, though. Celibacy and sobriety will give you a clarity about life that is astounding. I don't particularly like being sober, to be quite honest with you. Like, no buffer between me and life's fuckery. Like, shit just happens and I gotta deal with it in a completely clear mind. I don't particularly care for it. This isn't the first time I've refrained from drinking. I did it for 2.5 years the last time. I think I remember talking about the damn clarity and the issues with it all the time then, too. It's not my favorite. I'm solely doing this for health reasons. I cut my coughing out of the podcast, but like I still cough a bunch. It's better than it was, and I mainline cough drop, but I'm still coughing pretty significantly. It just makes no sense to be like coughing all the time and drinking. At some point, you just gotta choose not to be stupid, you know? But Lenny Kravitz said that he is looking for love. He clearly curved Gayle. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I'm not mad at her for shooting her shot. But Lenny said that he is just open, and he said that it's hard for him not to look for a significant other. He says, quote, when you desire something, you're looking for it. I find that when you don't look, you find it. I'm at a place, I've said this for several years, I'm ready. Lisa Bonet is single. I'm not saying they should circle the block. I'm just saying, it worked for Ashanti and Nelly. It does not work for the majority of people. I'm just pointing out that, aesthetically, they were a very beautiful couple. I don't know exactly why things didn't work between them. I don't know if they've ever given specific details over the years. But, she free, he free, she fine, he fine. They have a child. It could be a thing. Or not. If you're wondering why Lenny Kravitz is all over the place lately, it's because he has a new album. It's his 12th. It's called Blue Electric Light. I'm reading this on Rolling Stone, which I did not have to pay $8 to read this, thankfully. They list tracks on the album. I ain't never heard none of these. I guess I'll give it a listen. I sound so unenthused. I'm a fan of Lenny Kravitz, the persona. I don't know that I've been a fan of his music in a very long time. That's not to say he makes bad music. It's just, it hasn't tickled my fancy in particular. That's all I'm saying. Rolling Stone also notes that he's doing a Las Vegas residency at MGM later this year. Would you go see Lenny in Vegas? I swore Beyonce was going to announce something. Actually, I swore it was going to happen for Juneteenth. And we are not at Juneteenth yet. There's still time for an announcement. We'll see. What else do we have on our list? I feel like there's something. Lenny Kravitz. I think I covered all the majors. Oh, I had on here Mama Wallace on Diddy. I think I meant to talk about that last episode. We talked about the Diddy Rolling Stone article. Who caught up with Mama Wallace? Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone is on one right now. Rolling Stone talked to Voletta Wallace, Mama Wallace, Biggie's mom. They asked her about Diddy and she said, quote, she wanted to slap the daylights out of him. That article was actually posted in the group chat. I was like, she has very harsh words for him. It's not to say that I disagree with her perspective, but I was like, wasn't her son? I don't mean to speak ill of the dead, and I wouldn't bring this up unless the context mattered, but Biggie was a known abuser too. I don't remember if he hit Faith, but Kim for sure. I was like, you got a lot of words. I mean, we don't know if Big was like a rapist and a sex trafficker. I mean, Diddy is accused of many things. I think that was Mama Wallace's reaction to seeing that hotel video. I was like, yeah, that's a lot for someone, who's also the mother of someone who was accused of DV. And my friend pointed out, well, yeah, also, though, that the man she's speaking of is accused of killing her son, or at least setting him up to be killed. And I was like, well, points have been made. I hear you. But Mama Wallace added that the barrage of sexual abuse accusations against her son's former label boss have made her, quote, sick to her stomach. She says, quote, "I'm praying for Cassie and I'm praying for his mother." She said, "I don't want to believe the things that I've heard, but I've seen the video. I pray that he apologizes to her," being Cassie. "I hope that I see Sean one day, and the only thing I want to do is slap the daylights out of him. And you can quote me on that." She says, "Because I liked him." Did she? And the only reason I say did she is I just remember the line in the movie about Biggie, like the big Hollywood one. There was a line in the movie where Biggie's telling his mom, like, this guy, Puffy, blah, blah, blah. And she says something like, "What the hell is a Puffy?" Or something like that. Like, I always got the impression that she didn't really like him. But she says here, she said that she liked him, past tense. She said, "I didn't want to believe all the awful things." So she heard them. She said, "But I'm so ashamed and embarrassed." She continued, "He needs to apologize to his mother. I hope to God he sits her down and spills his guts and apologizes to her." What is apology to his mother going to do? Like, apologize to all the women you beat. I mean, they probably shouldn't forgive you, and you don't deserve it. But, I mean, if anybody's owed an apology, but she's saying that as a mother, that's fine. I'm not going to parse the words of a woman whose son was murdered, and then how she speaks about the man who may or may not have murdered him. We still got those 2 lawsuits from Diddy. I don't know if we're going to get around to that. Because we did lawsuits last episode, and just reading all that stuff about, like, the various ways that so many different men are accused of treating these women, like, it makes me scared of men. Like, I'm actually, like, very fearful sometimes. Like, I just don't know, like, who's unhinged and who's not. It's not really a comfortable feeling. I think that's what we got for this week's episode. There's other stuff we could talk about. I saw that interview with, what's his name? He's a black Republican, and he was doing some, like, pro-Trump cigars and something in Philadelphia. Byron Donalds. I saw the clip of him saying that black people were better off under segregation, which there are some aspects of black culture that were probably better during that time. One being the way the dollar circulated in the black community, because black people weren't welcome in white spaces. So we had our own stuff. We kept our dollar in our space, in our community more. That would be a benefit. The rate of marriage, because everyone seems to think marriage is like a cure-all for everything. Nobody talks about the rate of abuse or the rate of alcoholism or the rate of depression, or that women couldn't get their own bank accounts or credit cards, or that they were paid significantly less, or that there were less job opportunities, especially for black women. Nobody talks about that part. They just say, like, the rate of marriage. But in terms of the strength of the black dollar and how it circulated, and the strength of the black community when we were literally forced to be together, there is some truth in that. I just wish people would talk about the parts that worked as opposed to being like pro-segregation as a whole. I think black men who are supporting Trump are just lost. Would J. Cole say, "Don't save her. She don't want to be saved"? But he goes on Joy Reid telling the same spiel about, segregation and how it was better for black people. And Joy points out to him, she says, "Well, sir, you're married to a white woman. Like, could your marriage even exist in segregation? Wouldn't y'all not be safe? Was it even legal?" And he says, "Well, no, but sir, just stop talking. Just stop talking. It was stupid when you said it. And then you had the nerve to go sit down for a smart black woman." Like when Joy Reid's producers called and said, "Hey, I want you to come on the show." In your desperation for attention and fame and celebrity, you actually said yes to that and then just went on the show and just looked dumb as fuck. You didn't know Joy was going to chew you up and spit you out? I could have told you that. Somebody should have told you that. If you had a better publicist, they would have told you that. But here we are. Womp womp. Alright. We'll be back next week. Talk soon. Bye. Somebody was like, "You didn't blow a kiss last episode." Yo, I'm sick. Y'all want to get contaminated with this shit? Alright. Bye.